think the two complement each other very, very well, right? I mean, they are distinct concepts, different concepts, but they fit together very well. I think you're familiar with bi-modal IT, the Gartner model and so on. So you have two modes. One is the stable, efficient mode where you're in control. The other one that's fast, agile, flexible, that allows you to take advantage of revenue opportunities and disrupt the industry and so on and so forth, right? So at different times, I think an organization needs to be existing in both, either one mode or the other, or sometimes even both modes or a combination of them. And it really depends. Sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's 30-70, you know what I mean? It's situational depending on the needs of the organization at that time or the needs of the industry at that time. How does hybrid IT fit into that? Well, hybrid IT simply is this, right? It allows the customer the flexibility to, keep in-house as much as that they need to, right? Because of compliance issues, regulatory issues, and so on. But the ability to outsource however much they are comfortable with or they need to because of the current situation of the organization. It allows them to keep on premises, again, things that they absolutely must keep on premise, right? And to, put on co-location as much as, again, that they are comfortable with at that time. And really, if I look at it from those four dimensions, right? On-premise, co-location. If I look at in-house versus outsource, it's kind of four dimensions, if you like, and there are several other factors as well. Think of it like a spider web, right? Depending on the particular organization or situation at that time, it will flex to morph, to shape, to fit the customer needs, right? So hybrid IT simply is the ability to provide the client the flexibility to choose the solution that fits their needs at that time from one source, basically. And so the two will complement each other very, very well. You need to evaluate the service provider from a perspective of their portfolio and their experience with that portfolio. So are they indeed, when they have co-location, for example, do they really have a managed hosting solution beyond just pure location? Now, some service providers do, many do not. Okay, many are really purely focused on providing co-location, which is traditional power, space, cooling, and perhaps remote hands and feet, right? That's kind of co-location, right? But managed hosting takes it several steps further than that, right? Do they have the ability to offer me, on a monthly basis, the compute layer, the storage layer, the firewalls, the load balancers, and so on and so forth? Do they have that model? Right? Or do I actually have to own that equipment myself? Then you take it one step further beyond that. They say, well, what happens if I need it on a private cloud basis, or what happens if I need it on a public cloud basis, right? Public cloud compute. Are you the provider of that public cloud compute platform, or are you simply an aggregator or somebody that provides the linkage to other cloud solutions, right? So there are distinct advantages of each approach, if you like, but we believe that the ability to provide a single chain from co-location to managed hosting to cloud, right through, by the way, to the network, because no data center should be an island. You have a data center there, you need to be able to communicate and serve the organization. That organization may indeed, for example, be in the same city as the data center, right? Like Hong Kong or Singapore or whatever, but it might be in a completely different city. So the data center in Hong Kong could be serving Japan, Korea, might even be serving the rest of the world, for example. What happens if the client has several data centers around the world, right? Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, the United States, UK, and so on. What about the ability to replicate and back up between data centers? What about the ability to transfer information between data centers, whether it's co-location, whether it's managed hosting, or whether cloud, right? Again, we think that having the ability to achieve all of that through a single service provider would probably be more efficient from a client perspective. I think the typical objections would be things like, number one, in the finance field particularly, right, the regulatory body may not allow me to do that, so that's one concern. Right? Or take gaming as an example, right? When you talk to the gaming industry, Macau across the border from here, for example, they will tell you that the data has to remain within Macau, in which case, data sovereignty regulations become the challenge. That's one. The second part of it is security. How do I know that my data being placed on your premises is only going to be, accessible by me. Are you going to put it onto a multi-tenanted platform, or are you going to put it into a dedicated platform? Is it going to be encrypted? Is it going to be protected? And by the way, how physically secure is it, right? What happens if other vendors come in and they want to plug into my systems and so on and so forth? Those are kind of the typical concerns. We see the uptake of hybrid IT being more prevalent amongst the multinationals because of their exposure to other parts of the world, primarily the US and so on. They tend to adopt or are more open to hybrid IT. And then in this region, we probably see that the key markets of Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong primarily, right, and to a certain extent Japan, are the ones that are taking up the charge on hybrid IT, partly because of the fact that these countries or cities have the majority of multinationals, if you like, headquartered in these cities or countries, but also because of the maturity of the market.